hello and welcome once again to the Waters and Stanton video channel. A little bit of humour here I can inject into this this video. We're going to talk about end-fed half waves and end-fed wires, and in particular an end-fed half wave that you want to avoid at all costs because it really doesn't work. Causes lots of noise, causes lots of interference, and you'll be, well, just don't go near it. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. The end-fed wire, or long wire as we used to call them in the old days. Let me just do a sketch on a sheet of paper here to turn to the other camera. Now, this is a very quick sketch of a house and an antenna tuner in the upper room, and a random length of wire that went down the garden, as long as the garden was. And I think we all yearned for a 132-foot garden in those days, because that was a quarter wave on 160 metres. It didn't matter if it was only a foot wide. 132 foot long and a foot wide garden was really great. So there we are. That's your end-fed wire. Now, that wire did, I admit, cause a few problems. It was difficult to get a decent earth, because if you run an earth from an upstairs room, it could still be live at the top of the point where it attached the equipment, and you had to fiddle around with get the right length of wire. And we didn't have, generally speaking, VSWR meters then. All we had was a sort of a neon light or a current meter, and the aim was to get as much current flowing through the antenna as possible. There was really nothing terribly scientific about it. It was a wire as long as you could get it down the garden, and you hope for the best, and very often you did get some very good results, but you could get some RF burns and all sorts of things. Anyway, fast forward quite a few years, and along comes the end-fed half wave, and I've done a few videos on the end-fed half wave. And it's a very interesting antenna. Let me just sketch on the bit of paper here. This is the end-fed half wave, and you have a 49:1 UNAN at the feed point, and a lot of guys that install this antenna, they install the UNAN near a window, so it's really near the house, and you have a short coax run back to the transceiver. You've got no problems with loss on the coax, because the coax is rarely more than about sort of 5 or 6 meters long, and the advantage of it is that the antenna works on both the baseband and the harmonics. So if you have a 20-meter length of wire, it'll cover 40 meters, 20 meters, 15 and 10 meters, and it's very tolerant about being bent around the garden. If you can't get it out in a straight line, then just bend it round, and it seems to work. And I get a lot of feedback from people that have watched the videos and tell me how wonderful the end-fed half wave is. And basically it's a great starter antenna, because it doesn't take too much to install it, and it's very docile in terms of how you sort of bend it round the garden. And okay, you may not get a sort of a good 1.2 or 1.3 to 1 VSWR if you bend it around the garden, but you'll probably get something like 1.7, 1.8 or even 2:1. And bear in mind that 2:1 VSWR is quite tolerable. If you've got a ATU in your transceiver, that should take up the slack, and even at 2:1 VSWR, the loss on a short length of coax is neither here nor there. So don't be frightened there if you can't get the VSWR down to what you'd like. Put the ATU in, it'll take care of it, and it'll make sure that you've got maximum RF going into the antenna. Works very well. Lots of people use them, and as I say, it's a great starting antenna. So what about this antenna that you must avoid? Well, let me tell you, this antenna can cause all sorts of problems. It can cause interference. You get lots of RF in the shack. It doesn't radiate very well. You get a high VSWR. You shouldn't even consider installing it, because it just isn't going to work. And if you've got an antenna like this, you can expect all sorts of problems. You'll probably interfere with your neighbour's TV, all sorts of things. You're going to get noise from passing cars and noise from all the other things that generate noise these days. It's just a non-starter. So what is this antenna? Well, let me tell you what this antenna is. This antenna is in the head of those that have never tried an end-fed half-wave, and I regularly get comments saying that it won't work, that they're rubbish, you shouldn't use them. But in almost all cases, the comments come from people that haven't actually tried an end-fed half-wave and have probably been influenced by what other people tell them and by what we used to experience in the old days when we weren't so sophisticated, when we just had an antenna tuner and a random length of wire and a long earth wire down to the ground and all sorts of problems. Those days have gone. But this end-fed half-wave still sticks in a lot of people's heads because they have never tried it. And the best way to actually prove what you claim is to try it. And I guarantee that if you try and prove what you claim and try it, you'll end up converted to the end-fed half-wave. So that's all I have to say about the end-fed half-wave. It does work, it's a great starter antenna. Just avoid that one that is in people's heads. Don't believe what they claim or what they say. Here we are, bit of fun. Thanks for watching this very short video. Thanks for your support, by the way, down at Portsmouth. We've got some great offers there. Check our website. And as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.